Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another MMA breakdown podcast in your life. I want to talk to you guys. I just watched a video and I just seen a post that Conor McGregor posted, and his journey, his life story. It's a very, very fascinating story. He was a guy who was on welfare, not making a living, and he just kept busting his ass to get where he wants. And you see, back in 2008, when he was a nobody, he was a guy just going to the gym every day, not making a living, and people were probably telling him at that time, dude, you need to get a job, you need to bust your ass, you need to start making a living. And his girlfriend, on the post, it says he's been together for over 8 years. He's been with this woman before he had the money. He has seen the dream of making as much money as he possibly can, so his kids, his grandkids, will have that kind of money. And if you don't like Conor McGregor, that's okay, but you have to respect a man's grind and to respect a man going from nothing to something, okay? He said in 2008 that he will be in the UFC. He will be a 2-division world champion. He will bring mixed martial arts to Dublin, Ireland. He will bring the biggest fights. And people were looking at him at the time saying, what are you talking about? Because guys who are not even in the UFC, guys who are on local shows, they're not talking that way. They're not saying, I'll be in the big money fights. I'll be on the Floyd Mayweather fight cards. I'll be fighting Conor McGregor. I'll be fighting the biggest guys, the biggest names, making the biggest money. You never heard Nate Diaz say that. You never heard Anderson Silva, John Jones. You never heard these guys ever say that. They never said, years before they got in the UFC, they never said, I'll be in the UFC, 2-division world champion, and I'll be the most popular guy, and I'll run this division, and I'll run this sport. You never hear that from any other guy. But Conor has said this plenty of times, and it's very fascinating because he sees the kind of like the future. He says what he's going to do, and normally he doesn't. He said he was going to fight Floyd Mayweather. The fight happened. He said he would knock Floyd Mayweather out. That necessarily didn't happen, but he went from a guy 5 years ago that was making welfare checks, getting welfare checks, to going to be one of the biggest superstars in combat history. He fought arguably the most paid athlete in combat sports, Floyd Mayweather, and arguably made $100 million. So if he has his money right, he made $100 million for the Floyd Mayweather fight, right? He made I think it was around $10 million for the Nate Diaz second fight. So this guy is already having a family with his girlfriend, having kids, living the life, and he has a lot of money. And he said it like it is. You make as much money as you possibly can as a young person, so when you're older, you don't have to work anymore. And that is what it's all about.
Where do you live?
My name is Conor McGregor and I live in Lucan.
And what's your status, or what's your professionalism?
I'm a professional MMA fighter with a record of 4-1. I'm an up-and-coming fighter, and without a doubt you will see me on the UFC in the near future. It's all I do. I train twice a day. That's all I think about. It's just, if you only knew my plan.
And like he says, he would train twice a day, every day, and he was on welfare. So he would just go to the gym, train, and get to where he wanted to be. And he says hard work and dedication is what makes somebody. And that is the truth. The more you work at your craft, the more hardcore you train, you do what you got to do, you will succeed and blow up and become the person you want. And that's what he stands by. You work your ass off to get where you want in life. And I don't care if you're not a martial arts fan or you don't even know who Conor McGregor is. You see his story going from nobody to something, to having money to provide for his family. It doesn't matter if he was making no money and now he's making $80,000 a year. He's providing for his family. He did what he set out to do.
I'd love every minute, tear you apart. I will be where I want to be. I'm 100% confident that I will make it to the top.
There's many ups and downs in the fight game. And there's many times you have these conversations where you want to do it, you don't want to do it. I don't think I want to do this. Maybe this is not for me.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
So I sat back and I had essentially walked away from the sport. Then the phone rang. I'm not answering the thing because it's going to be a fight.
So like he's saying, it's 100% true that he is like no other fighter. Like, he speaks his mind in a way that is very, very fascinating. He obviously knows what he's doing. I mean, yes, he's good on the mic. He's good at talking shit. He's good at backing it up. But you never heard like GSP and all these other guys come out there and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to win this fight round by round. And he does it. And he became the biggest draw in combat sports. And like I said, you can't hate on the guy, man. His life story is fascinating. It's just something that when you see it, it should motivate you to get off your ass and want to do something big and make something of yourself.
Soon as I meant to go other ways, but this is my destiny now, and that's when I said I will give this everything. Yeah.
Lightweight champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with, and have a great life for my kids, my grandkids, everyone in my family, everyone that's come up with me.
That's a trait that he needs to have.
Absolutely, yeah, he's fascinated.
He's just fascinating.
They all doubt me. They all doubt me. Doubt me now.
And it's the truth. He's saying doubt me now because a lot of people said you're stupid for wanting to go from 145 to 170 and fight the bigger man, and you're nuts. It's not gonna happen. You don't need to go up to 170. He's too big. He's just too massive. Why would you even want to take on a guy that weighs that much more than you? And people are like, okay, he's gonna go up and get his ass whooped. And did he? He lost the very first fight, which is what he did. But did he also have a good showing on the second fight? Yeah. And this says right here, he says, we've been together more than 8 years. We've lived in Ireland, 30 kilometers from Dublin, in a rented apartment on the, I think it's 188 euro unemployment benefits. I had no job because I spent all my time in the gym. I believe that I would be the champion, and she also did too. She believed in me. So she basically would cook for him, help him be clean, help him motivate him. She would be behind him. And they always say behind a good, successful guy is a good girl that's always going to be there for the guy. So I believe that if you're a guy, you got to have that girl that's going to motivate you, to back you up, that's going to help you grow as a person. And like I said, a lot of people say she's there for the money. Well, she was there before he was even a rich guy. She was there when he was on welfare. And like I said, for all you people out there who don't like Conor, you gotta respect the dude. His life story is very, very touching. A guy who went from nothing to something, and I respect a guy who goes from nothing to something to provide for their family and to provide for like his kids. He's a real man's man type of dude. Like I said, I I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I see him coming back to the UFC. I see him being a much more dominating force and making more money. You know, people like John Jones, people like GSP, they could have been that guy who made as much money as Conor, but they never talked about it. They never went out of their way to say, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to win that championship. I'm going to be the most successful champion. I'm going to fight for $1 million. You never heard GSP say that. I think GSP's biggest paydays were like $400,000. And you could say, okay, if you made $400,000 like 5 times, you made over $1 million, okay? You made a significant amount of money, right? But Conor is going and he obviously said this multiple times. I've heard him make as much money as you possibly can in anything in life, so when you're older you can live comfortably for the rest of your life. And that's what you should do. You should go out there and not make a $30,000 job and struggle. You should try to get $60,000. If you're making minimum wage, you should strive to get $15 an hour. And that's what I try to do as a person. I see what Conor's doing, and I'm not like saying everybody should emulate his life, but I'm saying people should look at what he's doing and say, hey, maybe what he's doing is right. You should go for that more like higher end job. You should try to achieve your goals and achieve your dreams and do everything in your power to make your dreams a reality. And he said that's all he does is think mixed martial arts. That's all he did was think fighting. He thinks, I gotta go in the gym, I gotta get better, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And that's what he did. And if other fighters are mad about it, other fans are mad about it because he talks a lot, just think about it this way. If you had John Jones doing the same thing, he would be twice as good. You would have Nick and Nate do the same thing. They'd be twice as good. But this guy is as fascinated with fighting, human movement, and making money. And that's why he wants to be a co-promoter. That's why he's always hanging out with the Fertitta brothers. That's why he's always hanging out with Dana White, because he wants to be a businessman. So he's taking it in consideration, saying, well, because you know a lot of fighters, guys, that after their fighting career, they have nothing left for them. They have nothing to go for themselves. They have to either train, they're just in there training other fighters or training other people to be mixed martial artists. But Conor wants to be like a actual promoter, making more money that he could know what to do with. And that's a smart thing. I think everybody should strive to make more money than they know what to do with. Like Jay Leno says, he's the president of the More Money Than Brains Club. And basically what he means by that is, when he's out there, he can go out and buy a Bentley for $100,000, and he goes, that's chump change because I still have $500 million in my bank. That's what everybody should strive to do, make as much money as they can so you can provide for your family later in life. So with that being said, guys, that's my take on the whole video I seen. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can see the full video. It was a very touching video, at least for myself. I took a lot out of it, and I think Conor is just a bad motherfucker, and that's the honest truth. So as always, remember to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm Trevor from Trevor's MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.